Yes, sir.
Got to be live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like we got the whole squad. We got a 5. Who running the point? Somebody got to run the point.
You know, I got it. No, I got it.
That's right. That's right. Hey man, of course, you know what we do, man. It's that time of the night. Friday night lights is on. It's the Rec Room Sports Crew, and you know how we do, man. Each and every Friday night, we're gonna bring it to you. We got the whole gang in here. We're gonna do in the hoop tonight. Basketball has been going crazy, but guys, man, it's All Star Weekend, man. Like, what have we been looking forward to? What's been catching our eye, especially with a lot of these changes that All Star Week has been going through. What are we kind of what's kind of jumping out at us at the moment? Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I originally was watching this Celebrity All Star game, and All Star games ain't the same no more, yo. I mean,
Nothing.
we got Taco Fall out here. Taco Fall should be
Nothing.
somewhere in the league. I don't know what's going on. We
Nothing.
got the owner of the Charlotte Hornets out here. He's shooting threes. Shout out to him. Okay, maybe that's why they're so good, because the owner's even out there shooting the jumpers. Okay, Glorilla. Shout out to Glorilla. Big Glow out there. We got Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is not participating this weekend due to his injury. He's coaching the Celebrity All Star game. We got Anthony Anderson as the opposite end coach. It's a lot. They got a Ruffles 4-point shot. I feel like they trying to hype up the product as much as possible on Friday to get us enticed into maybe what will be Saturday with the skills challenge, the rookie challenge, and whatnot, and what's going on. I don't know if y'all know, right? But as we get into All Star Weekend, right? My man Kevin Durant posed a really interesting question. Okay, KD went on after a game and had just a small rant, and I think Kevin Durant as a I don't even want to call him an old head, but he referred to himself as an old head. KD said, "Why are y'all always asking the vets and the old heads, about the effort that they put out there? Y'all never ask the European players." Is he right? Because the European players play just as much jokingly in the All-Star game as the old heads, quote unquote, do.
No, he's absolutely wrong. Like, because it's not about the old heads or the young heads. It's about asking the 24 quote unquote best players in the world to play like the 24 quote unquote best players in the world. They don't give a damn whether you old, young, rookie, vet. People want to be entertained. Take it back to the old days. Yeah, 3 quarters of nonsense, but when that fourth quarter hit, it was a game. It was fun to watch. It was when the competition stepped up. Granted, if it was close, or sometimes if it was not, as 2001 taught us. I mean, I'll never forget watching that game and Allen Iverson going into that timeout, looking at the fellas and saying, "Hey, why not?" And the boys came out, broke, they broke a 20-point lead and came back and got the W. So, KD is just one of those. He loves to, do this. He's a shooter. I guess it's that OKC in him. Loves to point those fingers.
No.
Uh-oh.
That's his UT side showing. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about his UT side.
It's always something. It's always something. Kev, why you switch teams so much? Well, the owners, they could trade you. It's always somebody else, and never looking inside. But yeah, man, he's wrong, man. Just take it with a grain of salt, man. Every criticism doesn't deserve a response. When there's criticism, first thing you need to do is look in that mirror and look inside.
Well, KD, of course, is looking. Big shout out to the twin. Twin, what it do? I see you, my boy. That's right. On the Instagram right now, we get live. Once again, if y'all did not get a chance to hear the comments made by Kevin Durant, he's posing to the Associated Press and to everyone else who's listening. Hey, look, y'all are always coming at us. What about Luka? Don't nobody say nothing about Luka playing hard. Don't nobody say nothing about Jokic going out there and trying to throw himself an alley oop. No, he can't jump over a phone book. I mean, is there a way to resolve this, or is this just the vibes for now with the All-Star game, guys?
I think you just have to respect it. I think you just got to respect the game, man. I think it comes down to that. I think the problem is, man, is just what happens if one of those dudes go out there in the fourth quarter and, you blow an Achilles or you blow an ACL and you're in a position where, you have an opportunity to compete for a championship. I think that's the biggest issue, but it seemed to not be as big of a deal in the past. It seemed like All-Star game, like it's so sad. But the first thing that you were talking about what are you looking forward to, this, that, I was like, man, nothing. This is one of the first years that I remember. Like, I haven't watched the celebrity game. Like, I don't even know who's in the dunk contest or the 3-point contest. And I'm the most plugged in, NBA guy around people that I know. So it was just crazy to feel that it's just lost so much lackluster. I feel like it hasn't been great since that, that year where they went at it in the fourth quarter and Embiid and all those guys were going nuts. I mean, that was probably, that was probably the last time I could remember really sitting down and looking forward to an All-Star game. I just think they have to find a format or something, and it can't be more money. I mean, these guys make so much money. So what is more money going to do? I think you just got to find a way to, just be competitive. And I think it takes a couple guys. If a couple guys come out there and, lay somebody on their back or, go apart and try to dunk on somebody's face or talk a little trash. I mean, you know what I'm saying? A pickup game is always friendly until somebody starts talking trash and then we get to it. And so I think, that's what it needs to be. So I think if people had that more of a mentality, and it's some of these young guys, man, why don't Ant Edwards come out the first possession of the game and, sit down 94 feet and show that that's what he wants to do. And, those guys, and he can lead by example and they can jump on that. But if not, and you're going to, like you said, Joker throw himself a self alley-oop. He can't even barely, dunk himself. I mean, what are we doing? You got guys turning the ball over, doing nothing. And I remember, man, throwing the ball off the backboard, Tracy McGrady. Like, I remember all that. Like, I want to see, that. And then when it's time to get busy in the fourth quarter, let's lock up and let's see who's the better team.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, remember, Tracy McGrady went through like 4 people for that alley. So
of course, man.
that was a real self alley, man. Hey, man, shout out to Uncle Scott in the building, man. Scott Cole, we do appreciate you. Taking some time out from what you got going on in life, man. We love you, man. Thanks for showing us a little bit of love and showing up tonight, man.
I have one question for the panel. Is there load management in the All-Star game? Do we know if there's load management in the All-Star game?
That's a great question. That is a great question. For some players, maybe. For some players, I think there may be.
And Alan, how can you not love Kevin Durant? Come on, man. Really? Kevin Durant's the bomb.
Hey, and speaking of Kevin Durant, we're going to get into a lot more, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Rec Room Sports Show right here. This is In the Hoop. Friday night, we talking nothing but basketball. We got the whole gang in the building. I think we got a little warm up in. It's wild that we're starting off the show right at All-Star Weekend. And Evan made a great point without knowing names of shooters or dunkers or who's participating in the skills challenge, and they even this year added a special bonus for us as viewers, which would be USA versus the world. Now, I don't know if you know, but the world team will include 8 of the, I think it's 8 MVPs, 6 MVPs. Because of course we got Jokic, we got Giannis, Shea if he was healthy, right? But Shea is not playing. You know what I'm saying? The only other American-born, MVP would be. Anybody guess it? James Harden, because of course LeBron. We can count LeBron, but of recent ilk, we have to say James Harden. So it's wild.
So it's not the world; it's the USA versus the old and injured guys. Is that what we're calling it?
I don't know that. From what I was looking at, they were saying that KD will be participating in the event, but I'm talking about of the last few years. I think of the last 5 or 6 years, it's only the European players, which would be, of course, Giannis, or European and Canadian. Giannis, Jokic, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't say LeBron, but LeBron is also apparently in on this one, and I can't wait to see them lace it up. Now somehow, some way, Jay, do you think we're going to get a competitive game in at least in that one, in the world versus USA?
I mean, yeah, of course. I would have. I'm hoping for it. I'm hoping those comments kind of ignited a little something, man. I'm hoping.
Sure.
they Luka and Jokic and others. I think also you got Jamal Murray and I hope they did take it a little personal and say let's take it to them, and then the competitive spirit gets in a little earlier than we see it. Just like Evan said, it's pretty much I got sirens and stuff in my background. Sorry about that. But during the first 3 quarters before, the fourth quarter, we see something competitive going on, man. Somebody, throwing some, a little shoulder here, you know what I mean, a little elbow, you know what I mean, and a little something happens, in a little competitive nature, and then we see something we normally don't see, because it's that the first 3 quarters right now, the All-Star game can't afford that, like what we've used to see. I don't think the All-Star game can afford the same old, uh, dog and pony show, if I said
For
it
sure.
right. But nah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just hoping somebody gets mad, says something to somebody, and then everybody's like, "Oh, whoa!" And then we actually, let's see a couple players go at it, and then everybody else just jump in from each side.
Well, real quick, didn't like 2 years ago, didn't Larry Bird and some other guys talk to the All-Stars about bringing back the pride and everything about the All-Star game, and that didn't work that year. So I don't think KD's comments are gonna work at all, to be honest.
Man,
These guys
Bill
are just
Russell.
out there to run up and down the court, and shoot threes, and look great and everything else, and it is what it is. I mean, that's the way I take the All-Star game now.
Yeah.
It's just
especially since you're not even getting a full Team USA. It's 2 separate teams.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
It's like, okay, so we're essentially getting 3 teams, 2 USA teams and 1 world team. The world team is still better on paper, but I don't know. I don't like it.
I'm with.
I don't either.
It's probably going to be the only thing on which that'll be the only reason to kind of tune in. But
I mean, guys,
I mentioned this earlier. Be thankful it's not on the same weekend as the WBC. Otherwise, it would get blown out of the water.
I mean, guys, we got to take into full effect that of course, the product of the NFL took a major hit in the last few years, going from 5.6 million viewers for the All-Star game to close to 1.7. The numbers have not been in, but the All-Star game, football, East to West, however you want to do it, it is no longer the same, even as the flag football has taken over. And now the NBA is trying to find a way to enhance the product. But as we find a way to enhance this product, yeah.
Let's go.
What are they doing?
He's just playing some back.
Start the game. Start the show. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right, man. We're back again. It is the boys from the Rec Room Sports crew, along with a couple of guests. All right. You know how we do it, man. Each and every week on Friday, we do In the Hoop, where we talk college basketball, NBA, WNBA, undisputed, street ball, the Will Holloman Classic. We do a little bit of everything, okay? And so let's go ahead and get into it, man. We got our guys in the building. Of course, we're running 5. But we got one on the bench, of course. So thanks for showing up for us today, Uncle Scott. Of course, y'all know what time it is, man. It's Cleveland's home, but Las Vegas is home. Our guy, Bobby G. Allen. Bobby, what did you do?
Oh, nothing much. Just watching these rookies and sophomores run up and down the court. They probably put more effort than we'll see on Sunday. But it is what it is.
Bobby, can you send the Las Vegas weather to Boston, please? We need a 50-degree day at some point.
Man,
I will do what I can. I make no promises, but I will do what I can.
All right, and then of course, over there on the wing, we got my man, my partner, normally on the road, but at home at the moment. What it do, Jay?
Hey, I'm on whatever team Denny's on, man. It's all about Denny, man. Hope he does well.
And then of course, you know what I'm saying, we've got 3-time rookie of the year. That's right, 3-time. Our guy, most improved, Allen. What it do, AP? I see you, Brad. What's up?
Just wanted to let you know we have a new sponsorship, and the hoop is brought to you by the Weather Channel.
Brr, brr.
Stormy in the Southwest. So yeah, again, if I do pop off, I apologize, but we're getting storms tonight.
Oh man.
Of course. And then of course we got the pride of Boston coming off the bench right now. My guy, Uncle Scott, what it do? We appreciate you.
Listen, let's not hide the fact. Tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. South Carolina women at LSU women. 3 against 6 in the country. I'll be watching that intently in the hospital room that I'll be in. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be an awesome game tomorrow night. Women's basketball is coming strong. So
most definitely, we appreciate you for joining us through your hard times right now, Uncle Scott. And then of course, man, we got a guest in the building, but it's almost like guess who, because he done been here a few times. One time for my guy, P5 Zone. Evan, what it do?
What's up, baby? What's up, fellas? Let's get it, baby. I'm excited.
Hey man, hey, look, we got a set for you to run. That's how you know we was ready for you today. We got a whole set for you. I'm gonna put a screen out. Jay go pass you the ball. It's all you. But anyway, as we go ahead and get into it, there you go. As we go ahead and get into it, man, let's go ahead and jump right into it. The latest news from the league, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but it's crazy to say that this gentleman has been in the league so long, he has transcended the term point guard and has turned into the point god. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten the news today that after starting the season with the Los Angeles Clippers, being traded to the Toronto Raptors and then being released, our one and only Chris Paul, aka Cliff Paul, aka Allstate's favorite agent, has retired. So CP3 calls it a career. 21 years of Chris Paul in the NBA now. We all have had a strong sense of who Chris Paul was, especially coming into the league, transcending multiple injuries, multiple situations that he really had no control over, several venues in which he was forced to be in, which he brought life to the situation. So I just, in a really quick fashion, I would love for everybody to kind of say, you know, a memory or a thought of what we will hold close and hold dear about Chris Paul, and then I'll give a quick close to that. So you know, anybody, Chris Paul, who is he to you or to us as fans in the NBA?
Didn't Chris Paul have a rivalry with, was it Scott Foster, the referee?
Oh wow!
Where every time Scott Foster refereed one of his games, he had it out for Chris Paul when he was with the Clippers. I believe that's the referee that he had it out with.
Yep.
So I remember when he went to the Clippers, everybody was like, that's the piece that could bring the Clippers a championship. And it never did. And I think that when he finished with the Clippers, and that was the days of you know, when Doc Rivers left Boston, he went to the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
So he ran the point. So I honestly thought that the Clippers were going to be at least in the NBA championship series, and it never happened. And they had some talented teams when he was there. So my lasting impression is this guy never. I don't believe he ever got to an NBA final. If he did, it was very early in his career.
He did.
Late Phoenix.
There with the Suns.
With the Suns, okay. A guy ultra talented coming out of college, right into the pros. Right away, he showed his talent, and then all of a sudden, it just, I don't know if it plateaued. I don't know if, but he never got that He never, ever got that championship ring that I think he deserved at points in his career. So, great career. 21 years in the NBA is, I mean, I don't care who you are. You spend that long time in the league. Shout out to you, man. And definitely should be a first ballot Hall of Famer when he's ready to go in. So, great career. Great career.
Most definitely, Scott. Thanks. That was I mean, it's not necessarily a eulogy, but that was very glowing about Chris Paul. You know,
I
And
just think about the what if moment, man. I just obviously growing up a LeBron guy, being such a LeBron guy, the Curry rivalry when he was at the Warriors really bothered me. And so I just remember that, opportunity that when Chris Paul was playing with Harden, man, and they just had him on the ropes and he pulled that hamstring in game 6, I think, and they had an opportunity to win that. I think they would have went on and won the championship that year. I think they were that good. So I just, I think back at him. A lot of people say first ballot Hall of Famer and call him the point guard and everything. I think he had great moments, man, but I'm not sure what type of teammate he was. And I think I've seen a lot of things and heard a lot of things that I think he was a great player, but I don't quite think that he was like, I don't know. I think a lot of people feel that he's probably a lot higher on the list all time than I think he is, but I do respect his career. I think he's a Hall of Famer, but I just think he was a little bit of he couldn't quite get over the mountaintop. I agree with that. A little, not an underachiever, but just had a lot of opportunities, and probably if he was really that guy, could have got him over the top and got him home, especially with the talent that he had around them. But I just think he was just a really, really good player. But I don't think that there's very many lead point guards that can take you to a championship. That's why there's been very few, I think, in this in the history of the game. So that's kind of my opinion. Always just like, man, just what if? What he almost had it. Now, if he gets that championship, then that career is a completely different trajectory, because then he made one with Phoenix that would have possibly gave him at least 2 appearances. That gives him a lot more respect. But a great player. Just I'm not so high on. I don't think I'm as high on him as everybody else is.
For sure. I definitely could dig that.
I don't know, man. He seemed. I was just talking to Bobby earlier when they was going through his highlights, and it's kind of went a little unnoticed how he, I wouldn't say declined, but he played a little different. I mean, he was almost like above the rim at a younger age with New Orleans, his Pelicans and Hornets days. I mean, it showed the dunk over Dwight Howard, and just seeing how quick he was. And I'm trying to show as much love as possible, because when he was with Wake Forest,
Amazing.
I wanted him to just go to the NBA like right now, as soon as he started, tearing us up in Chapel Hill. So, he was great to watch, man, but he was like lightning quick and just showing his game. I would say his game I would say mature. Wasn't much of it was a bit of a decline. He played a little different. But he still kept fundamentally sound and was able to get other players in the game. Kind of helped extend his career a little bit when he had somebody to lob it to, every time down court, and Blake Griffin. But I look at basically his old highlights, man, when he was in that teal or yellow jersey or whatever color they wanted to pick or whatever they wanted to call themselves. But man, just those Hornets, Pelicans highlights were amazing. He was something, man. He was actually a scoring point guard at that point. Was able to get his teammates in the game. He had David West alongside him, and like I said, Hornet, Pelican, whatever you want to call it. But man, just to see him get pushed out of the league the way he did, and just like Evan said, maybe I had a lot to do with it. His attitude towards him as a teammate. A lot of people say they learn a lot from him, but I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see, like, when he's actually away from the game, what people say about him. Because, I hate to take it to football, but how long has it been? We starting to hear things about Ben Roethlisberger, saying not really being the best teammate. I think, some people who have some type of disdain for him is going to start stepping up with their, I got a problem with Chris Paul stories. But either way, man, only second to John Stockton. That says a lot. Nobody's
Crazy.
ever going to catch John Stockton's records, but
Crazy.
it's he did his best. And it's like you said, 21 years, man, in any league, let alone the NBA, is amazing. You know what I mean? And he,
So
I don't know, like we probably won't see that type of guard. I was told, I'm not gonna talk too much, but I felt like he could have been the last of a dying breed in a way, and we won't. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a point guard. I see plenty of point guards who can play like him, but they're not as assertive as he was as a scorer. But hopefully we start to see that some type of resurgence in that, man. I don't want to see every point guard come in the league and they just trying to score the ball, and then hey, what you want me to do? What, get the big man in the game? What they do that at?
don't even know how to post feed anymore.
It's a lost art, man. It's a lost art, and we'll see what happens. But hopefully people play some. We start to see a bit of resurgence from that type of guard.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the greatest of all time. One of the best to ever play the position. The true definition of coach on the floor, right?
Right.
And his career played out the way it was supposed to. Evan mentioned, he wasn't the best teammate. Like, what great player is? Kobe.
Exactly.
Kobe was an a-hole. Jordan was an a-hole. LeBron is an a-hole. Like, the great ones, they're not trying to be your friend. They're trying to win. And they're going to do whatever they have to do to make that possible. And they're going to try and get whatever they can out of you to make that possible. Just look at his resume, and I'm not gonna mention a single stat. We wouldn't know who DeAndre Jordan was without Chris Paul. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't know who David West was without Chris Paul. We might not know who Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is without Chris Paul. People forget that he learned from one of the best. The dude was just a leader, IQ off the chart. Come on, he broke down a 3-point lead to a 2-point lead because he knows the NBA rules on uniforms. Right? Remember that clip? Hey, he got his jersey untucked. That's a technical foul. He
was the players president for a little while too.
Yeah, it was president of Players Association. So I bet you all his teammates liked him then. And two things that I'll just always wonder about his career is, one, what happens? Evan spoke about the time in Houston, but let's go back before that. What happens if the Clippers situation doesn't happen? That team could have won the championship. What happens if the trade to the Lakers is allowed to go through? Those are the two biggest what ifs will always be in his career. And yeah, man. And it's just sad to see the way it happened, man. The NBA gets a lot of things right, but the one thing the NBA definitely needs to do better, we have to take better care of our legends at the end of their career, because this is an ongoing theme that's happening too often to some of our best. It's not just Chris Paul, it's Carmelo Anthony at the end of his career. It's Allen Iverson at the end of his career. Like, we're letting these guys go out the wrong way, and we need to cut that out.
And I'm right there with you, Bobby. What I'm saying? First of all, shout out to you for stealing my thunder, because I surely was about to say very similar things. Because where in the world was David West before this? I don't know. Where was Jared Jack? Y'all remember Jared Jack? We don't know. Yeah. These are people who got larger contracts once they played with Chris Paul. Now, don't get me wrong. David West went on to be a great Indiana Pacer. Jared Jack went on to be an NBA champion for the Golden State Warriors. But it literally, I feel as though once Chris Paul got attached to multiple teams, multiple franchises, the upside was, well, at least we're going to the playoffs. At least we're gonna make the playoffs. I mean, hey, shoot, you know what I mean? And in reality, I'll even go a step further. Who would Blake Griffin be without Chris Paul? Giving him
gosh.
the passes, the assists, putting foot in Blake Griffin's behind, because on multiple occasions, the words were that Blake Griffin was a lazy superstar. He did not acquiesce to what he could have been due to the fact that he was so athletic. He did not change his game. Once we realized, hey, he's going to pivot and up fake and then go to the basket, he didn't have another game. But Chris Paul made him enhance that jumper. Chris Paul made him start doing that pick and pop that started to kill people. Then Chris Paul also taught Blake Griffin to pass to DeAndre Jordan. Then the big man pick and roll began to take place. And I remember that was a killer, because somebody got to go to the rim. DeAndre Jordan was there waiting on you. And let's not forget, of course, somewhere in the middle of the thing that we're talking about a little bit before, David Stern vetoing the trade. Now let's remember, this is 2011, Kobe Bryant. Y'all don't know how much disdain in 2011 I have for the Lakers in general. And this is after all of the glory days. In my opinion, and I could be wrong, Kobe does not tear his Achilles if he's not going that hard because he has Chris Paul. That is possibly another onset of 2 to 3, like an earlier onset of winning. Chris Paul would probably get in Andrew Bynum's behind and make Andrew Bynum acquiesce as just as such as he did with the other two aforementioned forwards. Somehow, some way, I really have to give Chris Paul his flowers. But just like everyone mentioned, a lot of what I read and what you hear is that is exactly what Jay said. Chris Paul was the last of a dying breed, y'all. I don't know if the new age of young player can get that type of verbal abuse or verbal aggression and take it and learn that is how you turn it into fuel to practice, to play harder, to do better. That is something that very few of Chris Paul's teammates learned, and there was something like we did, and you saw it. We saw what happened when he got to Phoenix. Oh yeah, Phoenix turned into a whole nother team. We saw what happened with Shea Gilgeous when he got to OKC. And don't get it twisted. I think that they even brought him in on the Golden State Warriors at one time because they realized that Steph Curry was getting run ragged. Somebody else has to play point guard. And the last time it worked was when there was a point guard so that both Steph and Clay didn't have to handle the ball. All they had to do was get fed on those pick and pops. But once again, as we take a look back on Chris Paul, let's remember that, just like Jay said, the stats all speak towards him going into the Hall of Fame. But I'm more interested to see that if and when, of course, not even if, but when he does go into the Hall of Fame, who gonna speak for Chris Paul? You know what I'm saying? Just recently we saw Dwight Howard and Shaq squash their beef, and Shaq spoke very glowingly and highly of Dwight Howard and his career. But someone like Chris Paul, who somewhat went and ruffled feathers at every location, especially in LA, from what we understand, and even before he got to Toronto, they was already waiting for him. Where is the person that's going to say, man, Chris Paul got me to be a champion or to the next level? Or
Scott
put the battery
Foster.
in my back. Scott
Jake from
Foster.
State Farm.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Who's going to do that for Chris Paul? So once
Jake
again,
from State Farm.
yeah, so once again,
Nobody.
If not, yeah, if I don't know, I
If
can't.
anybody, it might be SGA. You never know. Which obviously that brings me up to the point of, hey, one thing people forget sometimes, and one thing that kind of gets glossed over. Chris Paul is partially responsible for Oklahoma City getting an NBA franchise. Because if we remember, Hurricane Katrina, terrible tragedy that happened there in New Orleans, the Hornets at the time had to relocate to Oklahoma City for that season. And it showed, and even with Paul's endorsement, it showed that the NBA can not only survive in Oklahoma City, but it can thrive. So, and say what you want about the whole transaction between the Supersonics, them moving over, that's a whole nother discussion in for itself. But it was partially because of how, it was a rookie Chris Paul really that came to Oklahoma City, and that it personally affected me because that was the first really time that I ever experienced an NBA game was when they came to Oklahoma City. So getting to be a part of that development, obviously him coming back in 2019, wasn't really well received at first, but once, he started taking SGA under his wing, he started to help build the young team we had around him. And we ended up being a playoff team. Nobody had us in the playoffs that year at all. Like nobody thought OKC was going to do much that season. So, I mean, say what you want about Chris Paul. I'm very grateful to have, been a part or seen his career from the beginning to the end. I'm not going to be a naysayer in any way because, partially responsible for us getting a franchise and partially responsible for us winning a championship thanks to his teachings of SGA and whatnot. So when you talk about players in here locally, OKC lineage, obviously Russell Westbrook's the top guy. It's always going to be Russell Westbrook, but a lot of people here, and I've talked to some people here locally, a lot of people here in OKC have a soft spot for Chris Paul because of what he did for the city of Oklahoma City.
And
it should be Shea because he just won that chip.
Yeah. Right. I was about to say, what, Alex?
I mean, Shea is too. It's literally those three guys. It's Russell Westbrook, it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and it's Chris Paul.
Yeah. I just can't believe
Kevin Durant is dead. Kevin Durant is dead to us. I'm sorry.
One of the three best Big 12 players of our lifetime, other than Kevin Durant and Michael Beasley, and you're sitting here saying that Chris Paul made him into I almost lost it, Whit. Oh man, I almost lost it, man. Bro, Blake Griffin was something like we've never seen before, man.
But I know
Chris Paul helped unlock that game, but man, he still had a little jump shot and a little yo-yo and everything at Oklahoma when he played at Oklahoma. Man, I remember watching Blake Griffin in college and being like, "What are we watching? Like, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen."
Final Four team that year, I think
they were insane.
We were either Elite Eight or Final Four that year with Blake Griffin. So he was phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, we sent him home, but yeah.
But Scott, you said, Uncle Scott, you said you had wanted to see if we agreed with what now?
Would you guys say this is how you can sum up his career? Right place, right time.
It's really right place, wrong time in my mind. Right place, wrong time.
Or right place, wrong time. Everybody uses the term wrong place, wrong time. Mm-hmm. I think with Chris Paul, it was right place, either wrong time or right time.
Yeah,
either one. Either one. So
Evan brought it up, man.
They were deep playoff run. A lot of times they were deep playoff runs, and he got them to that point. And then for whatever reason, whether it was the hamstring or whatever cropped up, it killed their chances of going to the finals.
It was, and Evan, I think made that point. Pulling that hamstring game 6 is and James Harden is on a. This is when James Harden was losing his mind in every game except for Game 7. I think was wild. So this is it was tough to see, but at right place, wrong time on multiple occasions, especially once again in Phoenix. It was unfortunate that David Stern didn't like him when he was trying to go to LA. It was so much going on at the time. So, it is what it is. But Chris Paul, we're gonna wrap it up, put a bow on it, and say, RIP to the point guard. But Bobby G, you had want to add a little something in there too?
Oh no, I was saying what's up to the little homie, man, behind Evan.
Oh yeah, we see you.
This my oldest. This is Ace, man. So this is Ace.
Shout out Ace,
we see you, buddy.
Y'all got to see him on the court, man. You guys will be pretty impressed by this little guy.
Hey, look, I got him. Sup?
Hey, show him that follow through.
Bring them in.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys.
There you go.
So we're gonna move on to the next one, man. You know how we do. We got a couple of things we want to cover, but this one is actually near and dear to our hearts. The other day, the last time we had a guest on the show, it was Mr. Evan Wheeler. Evan Wheeler went out there and wowed the crowd. Went on a tangent. 6 for 6. We was just giving him the ball.
Yeah.
He just went crazy. And all of a sudden, we said, you know what? We got to run plays for Evan right now. So this is what we'll do, guys. We got 5 things from the world of college basketball from our guy, Evan Wheeler. Evan, man, for P5, go ahead and let's pass the ball in, bro.
But by the way,
Hey,
Evan,
man.
before you go, thanks, Tom
Yes, sir.
Izzo, tonight. I greatly appreciate you, Tom Izzo, tonight. As Michigan State gets boat race tonight by 20 to Wisconsin.
I didn't even see that, so that's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man. Whit, first thing I want to say, man, is just publicly giving you your flowers, bro. This is awesome. This is super cool that you do this, man. And I'm glad you're paving your own way. And you got a great staff with you and a bunch of dudes who are bought in and along for the ride. And I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. And really quickly before I get started, are we taking Chris Paul over Jason Kidd all time?
Wow. This is what the hold on.
Let the hate flow through you.
Let me pull this thing. Real quick, everybody. We'll start at the top. Scott, Chris Paul, Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd.
Okay.
Jay.
Damn. I'm always look. Damn. I mean, I'm gonna say Chris Paul because J Kidd didn't. It seemed like J Kidd didn't have a shot until real late in his career when he wasn't as quick.
True.
As a player, as far as like scoring, the whole nine. Like I said, the fact that he's only I would say he's 1A to John Stockton because John Stockton is in heaven compared to what are you talking about, the steals and assists. It's crazy. Close. Nobody's gonna catch him. So it's like even if you come to second or third, it's like, oh man, you like number one, but of course. You're not, right? So
You're not.
I don't know. I got to give it to Chris Paul, man. I got to. J Kidd was I would say inventor of like a more of a speed game because he would take players that were just athletic and will make it work just by running up court.
For sure.
You know what I mean, so
pace pusher.
Right. But I still got to give it to Chris Paul as well.
Okay.
Like Chris Paul is yeah. I'll say Chris Paul.
I love it.
Alan, CP3 or J Kidd?
I'm gonna say Chris Paul.
Oh, okay.
Bobby G?
That's more of a personal choice, but I say Chris Paul.
Come on, Bobby. My man, Bobby. Come on, Bobby.
Chris Paul, easy.
Of
Easy.
course. You made a good point for Chris Paul, man. I like your fandom and I like your facts behind it. So it feels like you definitely have been a fan of him. So I respect that.
I mean, quiet as kept. What goes underlooked. Chris Paul, his on ball defense severely underrated.
Yeah,
especially early on.
Steals 9-time all defensive.
No, I ain't talking about steals, just positioning. Just like he never got bullied.
He can
never saw him
slide.
get really bullied, moved his feet. Like, yeah, he was for his size, he may be the best undersized defender in the history of the game.
I'm just man, listen, I'm just a Jason Kidd guy because the triple-double, winning that championship, just like I thought the way, it was so awesome that we brought up pace. I just think the way that he controlled the game. Another guy that I was a big fan of is Steve Nash. I'm a point guard guy. So, watching those guys, I just think they're all really close. I think those are all three guys could be like in the same playing field, if you will. So I just wanted to ask, man, I thought that was a pretty good question. I feel like a couple guys were thinking, a couple guys, it was a no-brainer. So I feel like that means it was a good question. So I was happy about that.
I just think, Evan, I think Jason Kidd for New Jersey, he was the main reason why they got where they got, and they were successful because he put them on his back at nights, especially up in Boston. I remember they came up to Boston and they choked a 21-point lead away and the Celtics won. And then the next game, Jason Kidd just said, ain't happening again. And
not again.
On his shoulders. So I love what Jason Kidd did for the Nets organization.
Me too, man. I'm a J Kidd guy. So
yeah.
All right, wait, you ready for this, man?
Yeah, bro.
All right, man.
Yeah. Now that you got us our minds
I'm
going,
sorry, man. I'm about to say,
it's
man,
all
now I can
good.
get everybody talking. All right,
There
brother.
you go.
So when you tasked me with this, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just, looking surface level. I wanted to try to dig a little bit. I wanted to try to talk about things that were important and then also things that I was personally diving into. So I'm going to start with Michigan. So I think Michigan is, if not the most impressive, at least one of the three most impressive teams that I've watched play this year. Their ability to shoot from the backcourt, their big man is such a phenomenal passer. 7'3", Mari or Mar, M-A-R-E, just unbelievable passer. Axel Yaxenberg, or however that it's mixed in there. I mispronounce his name sometimes. He was a Kentucky potential recruit, so I know a little bit about him. But he's just an amazing stretch four, has a chance to be a potential lottery pick. So I watched them the other night, and they were down 16 with about 12 minutes to go against Northwestern. And you shut your eyes for 5 seconds and you turned it back up. They were up by double digits. I mean, just absolutely shut the water off defensively with all their size and length. I was very impressive, and their guards can just shoot it. So they've got wins against Michigan State. Obviously, Michigan State losing tonight. They got wins against Gonzaga. Their only loss was that just sleeper against Wisconsin. They're 22-1. So I think that's a lot to say for themselves. I feel like if I was doing a bracket today, they would be one of my Final Four teams. So how do you feel? Do you want me to just run through all five and then we come back and go through? Do you want to go one by one? Whit, you kind of tell me what you want me to do and I'll handle it.
Yeah. Hit all five, and then we're gonna sift through.
I love it. All right, so let's keep it with the team theme. Okay, so obviously, I hate to say this. This almost pains me. Being from Kentucky, you would think that Duke or Louisville would be one of my least favorite teams, but I absolutely just cannot stand Florida. So them winning the national championship last year just destroyed me. My wife is a diehard Gator. Her family is all Florida, so I've been battling it from the very beginning. But I know what ball is, and I know how to respect ball. So Florida, looking at 17-6. 8-2 in the SEC in first place, 19th nationally, averaging 86.3 points per game. But not only are they in the top 20, averaging 86 points per game, but they are number one in team rebounding, number one in offensive rebound percentage. And they have a guy, man, Chinule, who's going to be an absolute lottery pick. Reminds me a little bit of a guy from a couple years ago at Kentucky, Oscar Tshiebwe, who was a National Player of the Year, who led the country in rebounding by over 3 rebounds per game. Unbelievable. So this guy reminds me of that guy, mixed with a little bit of his a little bit of Kawhi Leonard with the way he can slide. Not going to give him that much praise, but leading, averaging 11.8 rebounds per game, leading the SEC in double doubles. Just completely amazing. They shut the water off. They play through the bigs. Their guards are coming along. Boogie Flan can really guard the point, so a point of attack defender. So just been really impressed with what Florida's doing. Their margin of victory over their last 4 has been, I think, something above 28 a game, which they are just thumping teams in the SEC, which I know the SEC's down a little bit, but beyond impressed by what Florida's been doing. They would be a Final Four team for me as well. All right, then we're gonna go in. I got to give my boys some love. So shout out Big Blue, baby. Shout out the Wildcat. Shout out Kentucky. It started very, very bad. We had a really rough start, but I'm only going to talk about the last 14 games. We're 11-3 in our last 14. We're 7-3 in the SEC. We've won 7 out of 8. Obviously, the only loss that we have is we let a stinker go at Vanderbilt, where we just didn't show up on the night where they had all that horrible snow and weather, and we just got blitzed. But we play Florida this weekend, actually tomorrow at 3:00 for first place outright in the SEC. So I really like what Oweh's been doing. We have a guy, Colin Chandler, who's one of the most athletic white dudes you'll ever see. Had a crazy poster early on in the year. They're calling him Captain Clutch. He's had 4 clutch plays over our last 6 wins. Just been unbelievable. We got a freshman in Malachi Moreno who's coming along. So very, very impressed by that. So we'll see. I don't necessarily think that we have the floor or the ceiling of winning a national championship, but I think with the way things have started, I mean, Mark Pope has lost once again his starting point guard. We've lost our starting center. We've lost our starting small forward. So you show me another team in the country that has lost 3 starters that has still got their head above water, and not only that, but excelling. So shout outs Mark Pope. Shout out Kentucky. So now the team stuff is over. Now let's get into the players, which is one of my favorite things. Right. So, excuse me, Abuka Akari is a freshman from Stanford He's averaging 22.4 points per game, which, if he stays on pace with this, would break their single season freshman scoring record by over a point per game. I watched him play the other night, and when you talk about a mixture of Rob Dillingham mixed with Trey Young, his ability to be able to create space and shoot from deep, he's a little undersized. So I think he's not quite getting the recognition that that he should be getting, maybe as far as being like a lottery pick or a high draft pick. But just in a flat out unbelievable scorer with size, had a 45-point game earlier in the year for a smaller guard, just unbelievably quick, unbelievably explosive. So I was very, very impressed by him. Now, I'm not going to say much about Peterson. I was hoping maybe I could close with that so I could open a discussion with you guys. So we'll save that for last. But let's talk about AJ DeBonsa really quickly, because it would be criminal not to talk about him. So even though you completely shouted out or completely crapped on my man Blake Griffin earlier, as far as what's going on in the Big 12, man, you're talking about 4 35-plus point games. He is 1 35-point plus game away from tying Kevin Durant and Michael Beasley and Blake Griffin for all-time 40-point games, or 35-plus point games in Big 12 freshman history. So just a flat-out scorer. I know that we've mentioned AJ DeBonsa on this segment before, so I don't want to take too much time on it. But I am definitely one of the sold believers. I think he's a dog. I think he plays defense. I think 6'9" is really hard to guard. In my training, we've had a couple of our athletes that we've been working on an actual AJ DeBonsa series where we're working on that mid-post and that footwork. I think he's very advanced. And the craziest thing about DeBonsa is we have no idea what his ceiling is. So that's why I'm super, super high on him. And then we'll go with the last guy who is just flying up the draft boards, flying up college, playing for a 20-4 Illinois squad, 10 straight victories. Keaton Wagler, 6'6" shooting guard dynamo, bust on the scene a couple weeks ago when he dropped 46 on number 4 Purdue's head. Extremely, extremely low turnovers. Handles the ball extremely well. Got some wiggle to him, got some shift to him. Averaging 17.8 points per game, which is up there in the top 5 for freshmen in Illinois history. So I think that that's really awesome. Like I said, 6'6", reminds me of a same profile. A shout out to my boy Ian, who we talked about this before I got on the pod, but reminds me a little bit of a similar profile as Con Knuppel, who was one of my favorite players that just came out of the draft this past year. About 30 pounds lighter, doesn't play as well off 2 feet. The one thing that worries me a little bit about Keaton is he has 0 dunks on the year. So being 6'6", and not being able to show off that rangy athleticism, he doesn't have extremely long arms either. So his measurables are a little bit under. So that's why I can't quite crack him in my top 5 or top 10. But I definitely think he's a crazy lottery pick potential. It's fun to watch him play. He's got some wiggle. He's got some creativeness. He can shoot the cover off the ball. And he's very crafty. I worry if you're 6'6", and you're not really affecting, you cause very, very low turnovers. And also one more thing. Illinois runs a pro-style system, so he's very fortunate to play with 2 7-footers in the Avicic brothers that can both spread the floor and shoot over 40% from 3. He plays with the other guard that's a 6'9" guard that can spread it. So he has like almost the perfect system for him as well. So I wonder what it would be like if it was a little bit more clogged, if he had to go to the rim a little bit more. Those are things that I want to see him improve on. But that would be it, man. So those are my 5 takes, and then I'll leave it with if you guys want to talk a little bit about Peterson, we can. Obviously, my take, I'm blown away. I think he's one of the best guard prospects that I can remember evaluating. He reminds me a little bit of when I was super high back in the day when Derrick Rose and Eric Gordon came out. I was a big Eric Gordon guy with just the way that he could score the ball. So I just watched Peterson, and I think he can immediately affect any franchise with his ability to catch and shoot. His 1 and 2 dribble off the bounce is just absolutely lethal. He's got extreme elevation on his jump shot. When he shoots the ball, you can tell he's a fantastic shooter because there's not a lot of rim involved. It's a ton of net. So I am so far and away blown away. I think he's the number 1 pick. I do think the injury is an issue. I do think he's not driving the way that he was in high school and doesn't get to the rack as much because I do think that hamstring's been a problem. But as far as sold prospects, if I was drafting tomorrow, it doesn't matter who it is, I'd probably take him number 1 on my board. But those are your 5 topics, man. So I appreciate that opportunity, and the floor is y'all's. Let's talk.
Oh,
Darren Peterson has the load management stuff down to a T already. So He'll be
Yeah.
great. He'll be great in the NBA.
We go,
Great in the
yeah.
NBA.
We got to cover it all. So of course, in this segment, first of all, let me tell you something, Evan. When we tell you to shoot, we want you to shoot like that. Okay, that's what we want you to do.
That's
We
what I'm
give you
known
the
for,
ball,
baby.
you go. All right,
50
but
50+% in college, baby. Let's go.
that's what we like. That's what we like. So there was so much to cover. There was so much to go over. But in essence, bro, like when we think about as much as what we just now covered, because of course the team game is in essence going to lead into where this draft is going to be starting to shift people. Okay, and this is an everybody one right here. As we begin to watch out for the draft, he just said a couple of those names that I think are going to be creeping up the board for us, right? The best of the best. Like, who's really leading off at number one? Is it Peterson? Is it DeBosta? Where are we on that one? I see Scott shaking his head. Scott, what you think?
Those are the two names right now, DeBonds and Peterson. One of those two is
Boozer.
going to be number one. I don't see anybody else being the number one draft pick. Darren Peterson is a one of a kind type of player. Now,
Love it. I like this guy, man.
His dad and his agent, I guess from what and Tanner Dawson, who's another member of the Rec Room family, was saying to me that the dad and the agent occasionally have told Bill Self he ain't playing tonight.
For sure.
He ain't playing, and he doesn't play. So again, he's a very talented kid. You saw it against I think it was Texas Tech in the last 90 seconds of that game. He nailed 2 threes at the end that were just, I mean, they were backbreakers to Texas Tech in that game.
Yeah.
The kid is talented. I think in the end he's the number one draft pick, and DeBonds is number 2. That's what I think.
The 18-point first half against BYU. If you just watch that film as any GM, you're like, what in the world is this efficiency and what are we watching? And listen, really quickly, I want to say this, man. As far as prospects, I have not seen a guy who is doing what he's doing get less credit. Boozer went from winning 4 straight national or high school national championships and state championships in high school. He's averaging more points than any freshman in the history of Duke at 23.4 points per game. He's leading them in double doubles. He's leading the ACC in double doubles. And we've all of a sudden just stopped talking about that guy because they think he's not athletic. Like, do we remember who his dad is? Like, this dude is averaging crazy numbers.
Yeah, baloney.
The
top 3, without question, the top 3 are Boozer, Peterson, DeBonza in some order. But if I'm a GM, I'm looking at Peterson saying he's the guy. He's talented. I want him.
And we're going to get into what these teams are doing in just a minute. I see Bobby G had his hand up. I know Jay's got something to say about this one. Bobby G, what you talking?
Again, I respect my cohorts, but they're wrong, and here's why. The NBA loves 2 things. They love big men with potential, and they love tall point guards. And I'm going to tell y'all something, y'all not watching, I haven't mentioned it, and I don't know if y'all seen him because he was unable to play. Elijah Arenas is fucking for real.
He's coming. He's coming.
He's for real, bro.
Yes, hot take. Let's go.
Elijah Arenas. If I'm a GM and I'm drafting, I'm taking Elijah Arenas number 1.
Talk to him, Bobby.
6'7" point guard with the scoring ability that he has. And beyond that, the work ethic.
Talk to him.
The work ethic. The work he put in to get back on the court. We all know what happened to him.
Oh, man.
And he's got the drive. And I'm gonna go on the record. I'm gonna say he's going to be the best son of a superstar player.
Let's go.
There are sons of players who are good. Obviously Steph Curry, but Dale wasn't a superstar. But of the superstar players who have sons to play, Elijah's gonna be the best.
Mr. Hibachi's son.
And
Let's go, baby.
I mean, you watch him. What did he get? 29 last week. Then he follows that up with the game winner.
So, Bobby, you'll take him over Kingston Flemings?
Yes.
Okay. Because that would be my other guy, right? That's my top 5 you just said out loud. That's my top 5 right there.
I know his pedigree. I love his work ethic.
I love it.
And again, tall point, big guards, man.
Tall points.
Big guards.
I get what you're saying, Bobby, but would a team like a Utah or a team like a Sacramento or a team like that take him over Peterson?
No.
Do you think? Because those are the teams that are
Yeah.
going to be in the top of the draft. The Sacramentos, the Utahs, the Washingtons, those teams are going to be at the top of the draft. Would they pass on a Darren Peterson to take Arenas? I don't know. That's the thing.
I'd like
I
to
don't
be in
know.
that position.
I was going to say,
I would love the Celtics to be
especially
there.
if a certain top team in the West ends up with
Uh-oh.
the top 3 pick.
Like,
you think that do not let that man come to Oklahoma City.
Go ahead, Alan.
Oh my gosh, it's over.
Screw you.
I mean, as a Cavs fan, I'm hoping that every GM forgets he can play and he falls to like the second round so he can be a Cavs. But
so, Bobby, do you want the Cavs to start tanking games to get in the middle of the first round so that?
Oh no, we going to the chip. Like
For
we
sure.
ain't taking nothing. We ain't taking nothing around it. But what I'm saying is, if this kid is able to play some postseason basketball, be it NCAA, NIT, or whatever, and once he gets in those workouts, should he come out? And I believe Gilbert will advise him to come out, because when you have a life-threatening experience, that changes your outlook. Your outlook on things. That's why Bronny's in the league right now.
For sure.
He gets in those workouts and he gets to playing against other prospects. It's over.
It's over, baby. I love it. Gosh, Bobby G, what a hot take, baby.
Yeah. And I just so happens Bobby G's looking at my notes. Jay.
Yeah, let's hear from Jay, man. What's up, Jay?
Talk to him, son.
The only thing that I always get concerned about once we start talking about prospects is who's gonna be this overseas guy that comes out of nowhere and all of a sudden, no, he's the number 1 pick or he should be in the top 5.
I got a name for you too.
That's the only thing I'm always concerned about. Once it gets to combine time, who's that guy? And then now also you're talking about G League, who's that guy who's gonna pretty much be a dark horse, just come out of nowhere, that 6'10", athletic, handle the ball like a point guard, shoot like Larry Bird. It's always that guy. It's always that guy. And I mean, I would say the most recent that I've seen, who he's faring pretty well, is Buzelis with Chicago. I was pretty big on him. And I still think he has some room to grow. But I agree with everybody. It's just that I'm always concerned with who's that guy. And it's a lot easier now to digest as far as like who's over there, who can come over, who can play now. Because I guess once guys, he got drafted, but he's not going to be able to come over back to States until like 5 years from now. It's always been that concern. So, the guys they have kind of shifted over to the G League a little bit. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I say a lot of them are playing college basketball now too, which that helps as well.
That's what I was about to say. And you got.
Sorry, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. You have plenty of those guys that's out there. You got Page's kid. You got Oh man, I don't want to mess up any names. So a man from Kentucky, my guy from North Carolina. My guy. Just so many guys now that it's not the same avenue as it used to be, where we're not hearing about this guy. We're actually, just like Evan said, we're seeing him in college now. But I'm always concerned about that one guy. Like, he's been hidden in a garage somewhere, getting his jumpers up. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden he has a suit on, ready to be picked in the first, in the lottery. So, I'm pretty big on Arenas as well. Point guard, I don't know, like, who's gonna tank? I guess we'll get to that later. Well, who's gonna end up with the number 1 pick? Not Evan, but Allen has thrown in his hat for OKC. Every year he does. But it's now it's about that. Now it's about who's gonna actually luck out and get the number 1 pick. It could be a playoff team. It could be, like Allen alluded to. It's I don't know. Now it's about where is this person going, because that matters most of all now. I mean, who you got? Memphis. Memphis has like 14 first rounders in the next some odd years. You got damn, how many other teams that's actually, well, I don't know. That's
And the
hard to say.
Nets,
I don't have an
Chicago,
answer for that.
Yeah.
a lot of them, man. It'd be nice if Chicago could get the number 1 pick with that young, what they
It's
just
gonna
did,
be
man.
Yeah.
it's gonna be it's gonna be a good team. Watch. It's gonna be a
And-
good team. And from what we've seen in the past few years, it's gonna be a good team. So it's like we could throw all these names out here, and then once we see who actually ends up with the number 1 pick, that order just changes immediately. So we'll see. That's the scary part now. It's always a factor in there that we don't think about. Like I said before, it used to be that guy that nobody's heard of, and like I said, shoot like Bird, could distribute the ball, get all his teammates involved. Is already a pro at the age of 16. You know what I'm saying? And all those factors. But like I said, now the new factor is who's actually gonna get the top 3, 4, 5 picks.
So I just looked at as Jay was talking. Oh, Jay's still going.
Go ahead.
No,
So as
man.
Jay was talking, I just looked up NBA DraftNet website. They have Sacramento going with Peterson. Is he still talking? Is he still going?
No, go ahead. You're good.
Okay. Sacramento at 1, taking Peterson.
It's breathing. That's breathing.
Atlanta at 2 with their draft pick from New Orleans, taking DeBanza, Boozer going 3, and Arenas going 8 to Milwaukee. That's
Wow.
what NBA draft
8
net
to
has.
Milwaukee?
Yes.
I don't think he makes it that far now.
Heck no.
Arenas is in.
Where's Kingston Fleming, Scott? Where's Kingston Fleming's?
He
Real quick,
is
Arenas is at USC, right?
Yep.
Arenas is USC.
for the Washington.
Right now, Arenas. Right now, USC is actually
For
the
the
last
Washington,
team in bracketology. USC is the last team in the field. They would be one of the last 4 teams in.
Yes. We need them in the playoff. We need them in March Madness. Oh my gosh. All the horses in March Madness.
This is going to be a good. All right, guys, and I got a real quick story before we move on. Right, so the other night, I'm up doing my thing, and I just want you to know, Evan, I watch Prime, so I watch Blake Griffin a lot when the NBA was on. But anyway, so the other night, right? You know how we do. You got to watch like 4 different streaming services so that you can watch basketball now. So I'm watching Peacock, right? I'm looking at Peacock, and on the TV, and I got captivated by it, y'all. Is female speed skating. Oh my God, the 500-meter female speed skating competition had me locked in, laser focused, and on the screen was Francesca Lollobrigida, straight out of Italy, right? Out of Italia, you know? And on the screen, what they did was they panned over. Huh?
No, I was just saying that in Italian.
Oh, yeah. See, what happened was they panned over into the crowd, and then they start naming people, right? And out of nowhere, there's a tall guy, right? And then they go, oh, look, hey, check him out. This is the NBA is a shooter prospect. And the exact person that Jay just described was there. The best European player in 2025 NBA draft, Nolan Traore from France. That's right, the point guard right now playing for San Quentin. Is 19 years old, right? Explosive first step, advanced shot creation, growing in the playmaking field, creative finisher, two-way potential, mostly known to be the #1 international prospect. Now, I said, when I saw, because you know how they do it real quick. They just, you know what I'm saying? They were talking about La Brigida, and she's like, she's got like 5 gold medals. She's been in like all the Olympics since I was like 6, but she's like 40, and she's the fastest thing ever. But then they pan over to him, and he's just standing there. You can tell he don't do nothing in the cold, but he is there probably watching, one of his fellow Olympians, and they was like, oh yeah, wait till he reaches the league, because the color commentary for the Americans, they all are interexchanging notes, whether it be from basketball, the summer games, and whatnot. So they're pretty much talking about a little bit of everybody. But when they showed him, that camera was locked in. and he was standing tall on them at 19 years old, looking like, he's ready to come to America. So, Jay, the exact person you described was seen on Peacock just the other night. Fellas. Sup? All right, so it looks like we just ran through the first hour, so of course we got to go ahead and get it on in. I want to make sure everybody is aware that this is the Rec Room Sports Show. This is In the Hoop. We do this rendition each and every Friday night at 10 o'clock or around 10-ish, so make sure you check in and you tune in. So of course I got the guy, my guy, your guy. That's right, we got Jay on the MIC, not on the road today, but in the house. Jay, we appreciate you. We got, of course, AP Allen with a do. I see you over there, my guy. Can't wait for you to get back with On the Mat with our guy, Mr. First Down Sam. I can't wait to get back to talk about some Tennessee with him. Also, we got Audible, Bobby G. That's right, Audible Sports Podcast where life and sports meet culture. Don't forget, you can catch them on Thursdays, you can catch them on Fridays, and you can catch them on Sports. What is it? Sports Room 216?
Game Time 216. Mondays
Game Time 216
at 2:16 Eastern.
Got you. Don't forget, you can catch him on Game Time 216. He's out there in the streets. And then we can't forget about my guy Scott out here holding us down. We appreciate you, Scott, for hanging out with us today. Hey, look, we'll talk about what you got going on later because we love you. We appreciate you. And of course, our family member coming in once again with Ace by his side, Evan Wheeler from P5. We appreciate you for coming in and bringing that heat to get us started today. We definitely needed that.
Hey, wait, can I ask one quick question on college?
Yeah, sure. What you got, Scott? What's going on?
Evan, do you think the two games that you could say, what the heck happened, was Portland, Gonzaga, and Gonzaga, Michigan from this year so far?
I mean, yeah, I would say, I mean, there's been a couple just head scratchers. Like, I mean, I would put those definitely up there, but there's been a few games that I've been, you look at the box score afterwards and you're like, how in the world did this team win versus this team? I mean, I'll take one just for instance. I hate to keep throwing our boys in there, but we just played against Tennessee and they out rebounded us. They beat us by 17 offensive rebounds, 25 rebounds on the glass, beat us in the turnover margin. We were down 17 points. It's like, how in the world do you win that game? You're not supposed to win that game. So there's definitely been a few of them, but how does Michigan, I don't even understand. They lose by 40 and then they beat everybody else by 20 or 30. So, I mean, it might be one of those years. The one thing I love that you guys said, the last thing about college basketball, this could be one of the greatest March Madness runs ever, because we're going to have all these dudes that are supposed to be these top picks. They are all going to be in the tournament, and we're going to be able to see who is going to put on, who is going to do this. Because I even think Caleb Wilson, from what I was hearing, because that was another guy that I had, right around that top 5, but I think he'll be back because he just fractured his hand, but I think he'll be back by the time the tournament comes. So I think we're going to have all the horses on full display. So whoever wants to be that number 1 pick, they'll be able to show it for sure.
Right. Hey, look, and you know what? To be honest with you, Evan, with all of our college basketball talk, I'm really surprised that you didn't bring up, Kansas beating number 1 Arizona without Peterson.
Without Peterson, man.
That's another what? That's another.
I just am not shocked though, because Bill Self is a great coach. I'm sure that they were more than prepared. I mean, Arizona's really good. I think it's the best start in school history, but I'm never really sold. I mean, the last time I was sold on Arizona was, Mike Bibby. So, I mean, I wasn't really, I do respect them. I think Tommy Lloyd's their coach. I think he's a great coach, but I have to, I don't know. I don't think that they're as good. They're one of those teams that I'm like, okay, if you put Arizona versus Michigan, I still think Michigan would beat them. And that's where I feel about Florida and a couple of those other teams.
For sure.
I'm very intrigued to see what happens with both St. Louis and Miami of Ohio when they get in the tournament.
Come on.
Because you talk about Miami of Ohio, they haven't lost a game yet. St. Louis has
24-0.
one. They've only lost one game. It was by a last-second 3-point shot that was off balance.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like to look down on some of these smaller schools, but we've seen smaller schools like Butler, like Loyola Chicago,
George Mason. Come on.
George Mason. We've seen them make magical Final Four runs before, so I would not be surprised to see teams like a Miami of Ohio or a St. Louis make a run in the tournament.
Or how about Nebraska? How about shouts out Nebraska? Are you kidding me? Where the heck did Nebraska basketball come from? I think that's Fred Hoiberg, which makes sense, but my goodness.
Nebraska, I'm waiting on Creighton to show up like normal. Miami of Ohio out here in the streets.
Miami,
And
Ohio looks like a 7
we
seed.
gotta have Gonzaga pop up somewhere in the next week and a half. Right?
They're so good. They're so good.
Gotta have.
They're so good.
All right, guys. So as we continue on, once again, let's go ahead and get into it. So we got to talk really deep about the players that will be representing the lottery, which of course everybody knows the lottery is the top most highly touted positions to draft players in the NBA draft. But the idea of how to get to those players have been the topic of discussion for the past maybe 2.5 to 3 weeks, especially leading into the All-Star break. But we have been seeing, first of all, skill players, best players, traded to other teams, moved away, thrown, cast into the shadows, thrown into the nether realm to never be seen again, but then somehow are placed in positions in which the first, second, and third quarter is their time to shine, but they're not even seen on the fourth quarter? Is this tanking? I mean, you can't call it tanking because I let them play, right? That's what the coaches say. That's what the GM says. I mean, look at the paper. Look at the paper. Huh? The paper says, hey, he was on the court. He played. He got rebounds and assists. It's not taking. But somehow, some way, it's considered taking still, especially when you look at certain teams. We don't necessarily go get into all of them, like maybe a Utah, who have been sitting their best starting five during the fourth quarter. So what do we consider taking, and how do we resolve the issue of placement in the draft lottery? So let's go ahead and get into that. Let's talk about
the Utah coach admitted. The Utah coach admitted to the press. The press asked him, "Did you have any thought of playing this time?" Nope, no thought.
I mean, but see, that is admittedly still saying I didn't think of playing them. That's not tanking because they did play. They were leading. They were in the game for 3 quarters. It's just that you're taking out Laurie, you're taking out everybody, marketing, and
then Jared Jackson,
and all of that. Jared Jackson Jr.
Caesar.
Jared Jackson, 24 points last night. And what happened?
Bailey didn't even
need surgery. He's out for the year.
Yeah, he's out for the year.
Knee surgery.
Yeah, knee surgery. Let's go. Yeah, he's got a bone growth that will continue to grow if not shaved down. Ooh, let's take him out. Let's take him. I mean, so this is the discussion, guys. Once again, okay, in the essence of there being tanking or there being the what's a good word for it? If there is an incentive, there we go. If incentivizing not being as good as a team or as a organization, how or what can we do as, let's say, pretend GMs, or if we're all owners of a team, we got to go vote. What would be a projection on how we could de-incentivize tanking and maybe change the way that the lottery is looked at? Because if you've not been living under a rock, gentlemen, on all types of sports platforms, everyone has been trying to give ideas on how we can take away the need to tank and incentivize the idea of teams still being good, especially through this time period. Because in the last 2 weeks, all the dog day, everybody gets those excuses. All the dog days are happening. Oh, it's almost time for the All-Star break. Oh, we're gonna rest it. It's been repetitive. So now, as we are all high IQ basketball enthusiasts, let's think about a way to take out the idea of let's sit our players down for a good position. What could we do to harm or to change the platform, which is inducing the idea of let's be bad to get good?
You can't take away their first round. You can't take away their first round pick, but maybe put them in the back of the draft lottery. If you can prove it, they don't get a chance at 1, 2, and 3. They go to 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever it is, and that's where they're staying, and that's their draft pick. They don't get a chance at the top 5. They go to the back of the draft lottery, and the teams that tried to win games, they get a chance at the 1 through whatever the league deems it. Okay. That would be a thought. I don't know if they could do that. You'd have to prove that they're tanking. It's hard to do. But that's a thought.
So let me say this real quick, man. I'm going to put my little man to bed and jump back on here in just a second. But how do you guys feel? What if they did it NFL style? where the team, like, where instead of having the stupid draft lottery, just whoever had the worst record got it. I don't think that you're going to see the Cleveland. I mean, the Cleveland Browns have never just got the number one pick and turned into the best franchise in the NFL. So I think, if you went that route, I think the draft lottery, you can do so much about rigging it. Like, you think that the Mavericks didn't rig that? There wasn't something going on with them being able to get Cooper Flag after trading Luca? Like, are you kidding me? LeBron just happening to go to Cleveland, Tim Duncan just happening to go to San Antonio, and there's more and more and more of the Patrick Ewing situation. Like, come on, man. You
Let
can't
the
do that in
heat
the NFL.
flow through you.
Listen, you're gonna shake the ghost of David Stern. You keep talking like that, all right?
You want to fix it? Just give Oklahoma City the number one draft pick because that's what Allen wants.
That's what
That's what
Alan's
it
going to
feels
say.
like. Alan's like, let's go. But
but now, if you have a great point, let's take away the opportunity to fix the ratios by losing, getting more ping pong balls. I like that one.
Yeah.
Bobby G, you
Right.
got an idea?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna fix it right here. I'm gonna nip it in the bud. We're not taking away nothing. The first thing, well, the only thing I'm gonna take away is the stupid pick protection. We're gonna stop doing that in trades. We're not protecting nothing. You trade your pick, you lose it. But my Cavs have been fined 2 times this year for sitting players. The Pacers and Jazz both got fined for sitting players, right? So you've shown that you're willing to take money out of these owners' pockets. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Guess what? There are 82 games in the NBA season, so 41 is going to be my zero threshold. If you can't win 41 games, every 10 games you're going to lose 5% off your ticket sales the next season. You can't increase; you're going to decrease your ticket prices every year. So if you
Wow.
win less than 40 games, from 40 to 30, hey, you have to decrease your ticket sales by 5% the next season. Oh, you win
Let
less
the
than 30,
heat flow
you
through
got to
you.
decrease your ticket prices by 15% the next season. You lose more than 20 games, oh, you got to decrease your ticket prices by 25% the next
Wow.
season. And if you're a repeat offender, oh, we're going to increase that by 2 to 3% for every year you repeat. So, hey, hit them in their freaking wallets. I bet you they start winning.
Wow. That's a hot take right there, man.
Let the heat flow
I love it.
through you.
I love it.
At the end of the day, it's the fans paying the price. Like
When was
it's only accepted because ticket prices increase every year, regardless of if you win or lose. No, you got to earn the right to increase your ticket prices.
when was the last time the Washington Wizards mattered in the NBA?
Oh, they're about to matter next year.
Mm.
They're about to matter next year.
We hope so, but you know what? You never know.
That is
You
about
never
to.
know.
If with rest and non-injury, the next year, Alex Sarr, AD, Trey Ice Trey. It's cold in DC. I don't
They're
know.
not going to matter.
They're gonna try. They're gonna try. They're gonna try. They're gonna try really hard. Jay, man, what you got about? What you think about tanking, man? How you feel about
Davis himself.
I mean, it's not going to pay off because somebody's going to end up getting this. Like I'm telling you, this, just like Evan said, that is their counteraction to, you want to tank? All right, let's pick a random team out of the best teams in the league that has some type of protected pick or something of that nature, throw them in a lottery and just give it to them.
Boston.
You want to cheat? You want to cheat? We could cheat too. And that's what we've been doing. Just like you just mentioned, Patrick Ewing situation. I mean, that was mafia ran. I'm saying, like, you can't get in the room. Like, what? Like, nah. There's a way the NBA can pretty much counteract anything that's being taken place. Watch who does not get the number one pick. A lot of the teams that's been fine, or what we would claim to be the sorriest teams in the league, watch where they fall in the lottery. Just watch. And it's not going to be by coincidence. It's not going to be, oh wow, struck the lightning and like, wow, it's crazy. They just ended up, in what, the 15th pick. I mean, how many times have we been one of the sorriest teams in the league and we end up 13, 14, 15, with percentage, a higher percentage than anybody in like the top 5. So
Well, that's only because they already know you guys are going to pick an injured big man.
Oh,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
come on.
Yeah. All right.
We was just getting all right. Come on, guys.
And by the way, we up here in Boston, we don't know who Tim Duncan is. By the way, just so you know, we have no idea who this Tim Duncan guy is. Zero idea.
And listen, so Jay, I wanted to make. I didn't mean to click that. I was going to say Jay, but did you get all your whole the whole thing out? Because I felt like you might have wanted to add a little, that little button. If the button switches it over, so I didn't mean to turn it to the.
Nah, I mean, we're just pretty much prisoners of, again, the debauchery, the cat and mouse game of, oh, you wanna throw some, you wanna rest these players, all right, you drop down. You want to rest these players, you drop down. Because taking away what, 100,000 from a team that makes like billions of dollars, you know what I'm saying? Or that's chump change, man.
Yeah,
that's chump change. We're talking about a whole that we find. We're not finding a player. We're finding a whole team like $100,000. Like that is nothing. Let's if you start talking millions of dollars, then we'll probably see a little bit of fair game when it comes to these picks. But I'm telling you, these teams that are trying to go out there and they tank, they are not going to end up with what they want. They're not. And NBA is making sure of that.
Yeah,
we've kind of seen it. We've kind of seen it throughout history. Like, not to bring the Knicks back up, but like, not to bring the Knicks back up. But how many times did they try to tank for the number 1 pick for how many years in a row, and they ended up, I think the best they ever got was 3, but they ended up with who was it? I can't remember, but it was. I think it was the year Zion was drafted. They were trying to get Zion in New York, and they ended up only getting the number 3 pick. So yeah, that's just ask New York Knicks fans. They know exactly what.
I mean, it's at least whoever picked it wasn't Ronaldo Balkman way back in the day. Anyway, wow. That's a throwback.
Wow.
Anyway, but I digress. What I wanted to say was I've been watching. I've been digesting a lot of basketball. I've been riding around, doing Ubers. I've been listening to podcasts and stuff like that. One of the ideas that was brought to me, to my attention, I thought was very radical, and I want y'all to give me a moment just to kind of like get into it. HBCU graduate who is on multiple ESPN shows right now, and I think he has he's transcended because of course he was at one point in time the young man. They just bring him in like just a spot fill. But they've been having him on a lot of things these last couple of years after he's written his book. So shout out to Mr. David Dennis Jr., graduate of North Carolina Central University, a MEAC school. David Dennis Jr. had a radical idea, and Stephen A. Smith okayed him on it, but at the same time took away from it. But I want to just talk about some of the key points, right? In Europe, in Euro basketball, the clubs, right? They petition for players, and it's very much so as they do in soccer. That's why you get like La Liga, and you get those other teams, those leagues in which they petition for players to come and join them. Then you get, Leo Messi and Kaká and all those other guys. Those are 3 or 4 really good players surrounded by like 6 or 7 guys who are pretty decent. And even though, Lionel Messi may be a worldwide name, the other players who are from their respective countries are actually pretty damn good at playing soccer. So the way that David Dennis Jr. proposed it was to take away the NBA draft, completely de-incentivize losing, right? Because what you want to do is you want to have the NBA franchises and owners petition for players just like they do, very similar to what they do in college. Just imagine AJ DeBonster, who went to BYU, when he went to BYU, somewhere in there, besides having probably a good time, we all seen he got game. Somewhere in there, they petitioned him by saying, when you come here, you'll get these things. We're going to be building the program around you. You're a transcendent player. You only got to be here 1 year, 2 years, so on and so forth. And AJ DeBonster took the ride to BYU and is now living out his best life where he is the focal point of a university that probably hasn't had a star of his caliber since Jimmer Fredette, right? And Jimmer Fredette and him are not the same, right? So David Dennis Jr.'s idea was to say, let's just imagine, that we completely delete the draft and a team like the San Antonio Spurs would have to say, well, hey, if you come here, Victor Wembanyama, look at what we did with David Robinson, the Admiral, and Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, two pillars of the power forward center era. Wouldn't you want to come here and be just like them? And then, of course, they probably come from the wings, shake hands, make amends. They also talk about Popovich being great with international players. Then you bring out Ginobili and Tony Parker, and they shake hands, and then you go, you know what? I want to be a part of this organization. Not necessarily it being left up to the fact of the team being porous and bad, right? Also, that would, another team, even though Utah currently is in that position, just imagine a team like Utah who has players like Stockton and Malone and their runs against Jordan and how they at one point in time were at the the antithesis of what was considered to be the NBA annals of that time, especially in the 90s. Everybody, we were all there. We got a chance to see it. Utah was a force to be reckoned with in the early 90s and for a short period of time in the 2000s. What if the Utah ownership group, which now includes a name like Dwayne Wade, they get to meet a player like Peterson and they say, look, if you want to come here, we need somebody like you who can do X, Y, and Z. We're going to build the program around you. We're going to include players like this guy, like Ace Bailey, like Jared Jackson Jr., like Lloyd Marketing, who are going to be acquiescent to your every need. And we got people to cover the boards. We got fast breaks. We got this. We got that. And then Peterson goes, you know what? I like what they're doing in Utah. They don't got nobody like me there. I'm going to go there. I personally think that's even though it sounds very radical, and even though, of course, the draft is a pillar of the NBA, the offseason, one of the things we always look forward to, just imagine if the team would have to be good or at least stable enough to have a star player from college basketball go, you know what? That's where I want to go. What y'all think about that?
That is radical. I mean, that is to get rid of the NBA draft. I mean, you could basically, if Oklahoma City wanted to get Peterson and DeBonza on their team, and they had enough under the cap to do it, I mean, that'd be a scary thought. Those two guys, along with Holmgren and SGA and all them. That's the only fear that I would have, is that you're making an Oklahoma City, a Boston, a Cleveland, those teams better than they already are, and the gap is getting wider and wider. So that would be the only concern I would have with that. But other than that, I think you try it for a year and see how it goes, and if it's something that works, you go to it another year and you just keep going to it. But once, like that'd be my fear from Adam Silver, is this Oklahoma City just signed DeBonza and Peterson. This is our worst nightmare come true. And now Oklahoma City's unbeatable.
And for that, I hear you, and I'm gonna give you a rebuttal. I think Jay was about to say something.
You just can't use the same model. You can't. I don't think you could compare the two. We talking about the talent level, two different type leagues. You can't use that same model with the NBA. You couldn't, because again, you won't see pretty much you could see a team pretty much building a monopoly, and then also, what does that leave when you get a certain team that pretty much stacks up some great players, and they end up just like we talked about OKC? You could take those players and then build a monopoly on first round picks just by trading the players away. So I don't know. It's just you just have to fix the tanking, just nip it in the bud some kind of way. Changing up any type of format these days, it's gonna basically benefit the better teams, one way or the other, especially at a point now where, again, you got teams with 16 first-round draft picks, 14 first-round draft picks. If you end up adding 2 possibly future first-round type players as far as collateral that you can get, I mean, they'll never end. It'll never end for them. They can pretty much, they have the cash. Once they get low on cash, once they have to pay certain players, all right, let them go. Let's get some first-round picks back in. And they become their own draft. You know what I mean? And I don't really know about that.
Or
So
you
let me
run
run-
into
Let me run this thought by you. So the NFL is now tinkering with the idea of GMs are able to trade their first round draft picks 5 years down the line. What if the NBA put a rule in that you could only trade your first round draft picks for the next 2 or 3 years? Because GMs don't care about 5 years down
they
the
already
line.
have a rule like that.
Do they
you
have a
can't-
rule like that?
Yeah, you can't trade draft picks in back-to-back years. That's why you see so many.
They're doing consecutive.
Instead of doing the pick, they'll do a swap. Because in theory, you're not trading your pick, you're just switching positions. But
Okay.
you're still maintaining the pick.
Yeah,
They
and
already
that's where the protected comes. That's where all the protected stuff comes in too.
Yeah,
with that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think GMs are willing to trade like their 2029 first round draft pick for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
For this X player. Because they don't care about 2029. That's like
Right.
4 or 5 years down the line. They don't care. Why don't
You might not even have
could
the
the
job
NBA
then.
possibly cut that
Exactly.
thing out? Yeah.
And if I do, I'll worry about it then. So,
Yeah, exactly.
But-
I might not be in Cleveland or Boston or Toronto
yeah.
in 2029. So what do I care if I trade a first round draft? I don't care.
Right. Yeah. You're messing up future GMs. Now you're messing up future GMs.
Yeah,
Wow,
you're messing up the future of the organization just for this 1 year because I'm trying to save my job. I'm trying to save my ass.
How about
So I don't care what
how about
happens there.
How about I
ahead, Jim.
offload picks to say I'm a good friend of this owner? Oh man, I'm on the hot seat.
Right.
Shit. Hey, you could get all the first round picks. I'll be there in a little bit. I mean, I don't. Yeah, it's weird.
That's why Kevin Garnett get traded today because McHale and Ainge are best friends, and Ainge sends him a package of Al Jefferson, and a bunch of young guys to get Kevin Garnett because McHale and Ainge were really good friends, and they that's why that trade happened. Basically, is because of that. And Garnett wanted to win, wanted to get a title, but that's why.
Okay, and this is what I was going to say. All right, so we're gonna close it out with this. What everybody was saying as the conversation was going on, and I was listening because I was listening to the Hoop Collective and all of that. What was happening was the gentlemen on the show. You know what I'm saying? Tim Bontemps, Stephen A. Smith, David Dennis Jr., and what's my guy name? David Windhorst. The point was somebody was like, okay, exactly what Jay said, where they're going to create a monopoly over who comes out, right? The only other person that kind of made sense of it was David Windhorst was like, hey, somebody's going to go where they're going to want to make it on their own. They're going to want to, be their own man. They're going to want to forge their own path. And they're going to choose to not go to an Oklahoma City. They're going to choose to not go to, a Lakers franchise. And then that'll start a similar aspect to like what happened with Giannis, where he's in Milwaukee. He's kind of like an outlier. But, to me, like I said, we have to figure out a different path. I think Bobby's idea was one of the ones that a lot of people chimed in on, where you have to monetarily de-incentivize tanking to the owners. Millions of dollars would make sense. That one of the biggest things that was mentioned was the TV rights deal when it got changed because of like the downshift. There could have been a $4 million upswing, and all of the owners in the meeting brought up $4 million after they got 262. You see what I'm saying? $4 million, but they just got a check for 262. They was all worried about $4 million. So if you start to do like Bobby says, maybe you slowly but surely start to make them do different as they realize the decrease in their pockets. Okay, and they make them put out better product. But I digress once again, man. This has been crazy. I love this conversation. We got to keep it moving. No. So, man, it's already here, but we got to talk about it. And this is probably going to be one of the last ones before we run up out of here, man. I don't know if you know, gentlemen, but every once in a while, shout out to my guy Bodkins, my guy Mr. Bobby Blunts. But I like a good fight. Okay, head kicks and haymakers on Wednesdays. You know what I'm saying? From about 9 o'clock to about maybe 10:30. Right. This past week, we had a bit of a kerfuffle, a little bit of a skirmish, melee, if you will. I don't want to call it a malice at the palace. Nah, we ain't gonna take it there. That was totally different. It involved a lot of people. It involved cups, fans, Jermaine O'Neal sliding into people's jaws. It was crazy. Pause. But at the same time, we did have a little bit of some controlled violence, if you will. And then at the same time, there was also another incident. Julius Randle gets ruffled up by Dunn a little bit, and all of a sudden now we got LA Clippers and Timberwolves brawl. So somehow, some way, all of these things made me wonder if controlled chaos is good for the NBA product. Now let's take it back a little bit, because of course there was huge ramifications as Moussa Diabate and Jalen Duren, went back and forth on the court. Of course, Jalen Duren physically was getting a bit of the best of Moussa Diabate. At the time, the Charlotte Hornets were on a 9-game win streak, and all of a sudden everything looks good until Moussa Diabate went forehead to forehead with Jalen Duren. And then it got a little out of hand. Several players began to engage in what would be considered as negative reactions to the skirmish, if you will. And somehow, some way, we all of a sudden get suspensions. We get violations. We get to see what happens from, y'all remember the Phoenix Suns. Y'all remember the Phoenix Suns in their Los Angeles Lakers game, right? Way back in the day, when they all of a sudden imposed larger fines and longer suspensions if you are on the bench and you make your way to the court during the skirmish. All of these things happened when those two met that day. So Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Moussa Diabate, Miles Bridges, all get lengthy suspensions. Isaiah Stewart, the lengthiest, because of course he's a repeat offender. He comes all the way off the bench onto the court, ice on his knees, wrapped up, ready to go, chasing down Miles Bridges. And you know what it is with Stu Beef. It's all war. Miles Bridges, disciplinary stems from, of course, him having a pass as well. And then Diabate and Duren both get suspended for shorter sentences. And then somehow, some way, we got Luke Kennard. Y'all saw Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard was like, I'm not having this. I don't even. I'm walking away from
Duncan Robinson.
Duncan Robinson, yeah, walking away. I don't even know where that comes from. He walked away clearly as the skirmish was happening right behind his back. So, in essence, is a controlled moment of chaos, just a little bit of a skirmish, still good for the NBA product?
Yes. Celtics Pistons in the day, Celtics Sixers, those fights, those hatred of each other, great for the NBA. Absolutely great. Today's NBA, each guy goes up, hey, how's your family doing? Hey, I'm not going to fight tonight. Hey, you're my best friend. You're on a different team. Oh, I want to see rivalries again, reborn in the NBA. We don't have the rivalries anymore like we used to back in the day. I think something, not saying like the malice in the palace, but a good skirmish is always great. I think it's a rivalry reborn again. So that's my feeling. You got to build rivalries in the NBA again. You don't have them anymore like you used to. And I miss that, to be honest with you. I love Celtics Pistons games. I look forward to appointment watching Every time those teams played, Bird, Parrish, McHale, Dennis Johnson Dage against Lambeer, against Ricky Mahorn, Dennis Rodman when he was with the Pistons. I mean, that was you had to watch that. You had to. So
For sure,
Not to
Scott.
mention, Scott, it might incentivize some of these players to actually play.
yes,
You know,
I
like
agree.
if you're playing a team that you detest more than anything in the world, you're damn right you're going to go out there and show out. Like, I'm not sitting. You're gonna have guys that'll be like, I'm not sitting this game out. I'm gonna go out there and show them why I'm, one of the best players in the world. Absolutely. So yeah, I agree with these guys. I think it would be pretty good for the NBA if they had a little bit more. Not saying these guys should actually fight each other all the time, but like
once in a while.
Develop these rivalries, man. Like this is what the NBA is missing compared to like some of the other sports. It's like, why do we keep watching the NFL so much? Not just for the star power, but there's a lot of rivalries going on, especially in the AFC side. Baseball for what it is, you've got there's not much rivalry going on nowadays. But when you get those very nonchalant rivalries, like a Texas Houston or still with Red Sox Yankees, you're going to tune in and watch that game because you're potentially going to see a scuffle go on. That doesn't happen with the NBA anymore.
At times, I look at the NBA and I say, this is a soft product. This is a soft product. At times. Not all the time. Sometimes I'll watch a game and I'll say, these guys are soft. They don't want any contact at all.
You ain't never seen Isaiah Stewart be soft. I'm just kidding.
Well, Isaiah, no. There are pockets where guys in the NBA are they love the contact. They love that stuff. But I'd say 90% of these players don't want the contact. Don't want the rough stuff. Would rather stay in the perimeter and shoot their 3-pointers and not take the ball to the basket like sometimes they should. It just makes the game so different than what I'm used to. So
I agree that we need rivalries, but I disagree that the physical play is like that doesn't. I'm with Duncan Robinson, man. And Duncan Robinson is catching a lot of heat. It's like, what are y'all doing? Ain't nobody gonna do nothing. Jalen Duren, you mushed that man in the face and then ran for 5 minutes.
Patty
like what was accomplished? I mean, you're in the street. You put your hands on somebody's face. You better stand there and take what's coming to you. Like, nah, he ran around for 5. Isaiah Stewart is just an idiot, man. He ain't tough. He's just an idiot. Like, come on. I mean, why is he known? It ain't for basketball. We know who you are because you ran around like a dumbass thinking that somebody was going to let you fight LeBron James on national TV. That's why we know who you are. Like, I mean, and to Alan's point, he's absolutely right. The reason we watch football, we just watched a great playoff because there are rivalries. How many fights did you see? Zero.
Yeah, zero.
You saw good football. You saw good football with Seattle and the Rams. You saw good football with the Patriots and Texans and the Broncos. Like, it wasn't because of fights. It was because you have quality teams playing each other. And like, it's missing from the NBA, and it's been missing. And it's not a homer thing. It's just a fact. Since the Cavs and Warriors fell off. Because what did you have? You had 3. We're going to see these teams go at it. And it wasn't just them. It was the on the way. Because what happened on the way to the Warriors and Cavs facing? The Clippers and the Warriors, the Rockets and the Warriors, the Rockets and the Clippers, the Cavs and the Raptors, the Cavs and the Hawks. You had other teams who were consistently good. We haven't had a repeat champion in how long? And that's because everybody keeps changing. When parity is great because you see difference, but parity kills rivalries because you don't get the consistent matchups.
Right.
It's like, and the other, I mean, Cavs, Celtics, man, they were a part of that when we were going to the final. We played these guys in the playoffs 2 out of 3 seasons. But what happened? Oh, this year, the Cavs are good. This year, the Cavs are not. Oh, Pistons are good. Now they're not. So you don't get those, Robbie. You're constantly facing somebody new. And yeah, it's great because you see new champions, but you lose those rivalries because you don't see the the playoff moments that lead to the games that you want to see in the regular season. It leads to the, oh man, I can't wait till we see these dudes on Christmas. You don't get that because we're not seeing it in the biggest moments. So it's like it has nothing to do with the fighting. It's we need consistency amongst the good teams.
Yep.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little scuffle. It's like everybody pretty much said. There's nothing wrong with a little controversy. But again, this is almost like when we talk about the competition, the style of play, it all comes into the type of person that we're talking about. Guys that I know good and well, if you put your forehead on my forehead, slapping the shit out you. I mean, and you should be prepared to do the same. If we're gonna, it's like two pit bulls, man. Like it's not gonna get to a certain point, and then one is just gonna say, "Oh, you know what? I'm good." It's not gonna happen like that. That's not the case. So,
Right.
Just best be prepared for if you want to start something, just be ready to finish it. And it was kind of sad to watch that fight because Bobby was right. Like, I'm just too busy looking at the person who started that fight. And to me, the person who started that fight was Duran. And it was like, dude, you did all of that. And it's like off to the races, bro. Like, no, stand there and fight. If you're going to do that, like, you might as well. You should have got the most games. Like, if I'm going to initiate something like that, I'm getting 10 games. Why? Because I'm not going to do all that to not do nothing. Because I'm the type of person, and, there are players that still have that type of pride where I got to answer to my homeboys. I got to answer to my cousins, to my uncles that saw what I did. Was like, how you gonna put your damn forehead on this damn boy and you out there running around, man? So that was pointless. I mean, it's sad to see, but it's just same way as the nature of the game. It's no different. You know what I'm saying? And there's no dogs out there. It's just little puppies that either want to just bark or, hey, start something and let their crazy ass teammates come on. Oh, that's my little brother. Man, where I'm from, little brother had to fight. And big brother sit right there and said, you better not get your ass beat. And that's that. We just in a different day and age now. That's, somebody's
the
calling
old saying
somebody
you
for this.
grew up, what is the old saying you grew up hearing all the time? You better not start a fight, but if you ever get into a fight, you better damn well finish it.
Hey. Yeah.
And, hey,
I mean, that
listen.
was. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was going. I didn't. Once again, when you hit the mute button, it switches people. That's my bad, though. I was going to say y'all pretty much hit the nail on the head with that one, bro. In my mind, like, let me say this. I think part of this is an animosity thing because the Charlotte Hornets are the Charlotte Hornets. Okay, they're an upstart team. They're looked at as, lower or beneath some of these teams, especially like the Detroit Pistons, who are, leading the Eastern Conference at that time, especially. And at one point in time, the Charlotte Hornets and the Detroit Pistons were in opposite situations or in similar situations where they were both at the bottom and nobody believed in either one of them. I think the catalyst to what I think is a positive reaction to this is the idea that the Pistons are antagonizing the Charlotte Hornets, and the Charlotte Hornets are no longer taking it.
Let the hate flow through you.
The whole point is, the offset is. Oh, go ahead. What you going to say?
No, I was saying, if you look at the Pistons, I think they lead the league in fouls taken. They play a certain type of brand of basketball that you're gonna see that you're gonna see this pretty normal when it comes to the Pistons. They're gonna cause a bit of a hoorah simply because of their style of play. Even the coach has said that he has to tone down practices. He has not seen that style of play even in practices in a very, very, very long time. So like their style of play gets everybody up to that level. You know what I'm saying? The Pistons just bring that type of, and I'm not talking about like the Pistons, the bad boy Pistons or anything. I'm talking about, you know, y'all help me out, because I got coaches in my name in my head right now, but basically, you know, they have a style of play. You know, just like the coach said, like even in practices, he has not seen that in years, from team to team that he's been on. Bigger staff, right?
Yeah.
No,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, JB
bigger
Bickerstaff.
staff.
JB.
So like, think about where he came from. Think about the type of basketball he's seen as a kid. You know, bigger staff. You know, his pops, the type of coach that he was. So for him to say that he has not seen that physicality on one team in a long time, that shows you what they bring from town to town. Whenever they play city to city, they're gonna have that type of situation going on, or damn near, just because of their style of play, just because of the physicality they play with. So I mean, this ain't nothing. I feel like there's always gonna be teams that are gonna take offense, especially Charlotte. Man, we talking about a bunch of young guys who aren't quite used to that. So when somebody comes and they playing the bully, you know, the young team or the team that's a bit more finesse, they're gonna take a bit of exception, you know. And I don't know, like I just think that's not. Of course, you know, when you have this type of fines, these type of suspensions, you start to learn your lesson. You start to tone it down, especially Stewart. He's out for 7 games. He has a lot of time to think about it, but you're gonna think twice. But I think they're still gonna have that physicality. And when you got Cade Cunningham at point guard, his style of play, they're gonna be backing him up. Got a lot of role players out there, a lot of OGs on that court, on that team. So I don't know. I think they're still gonna bring that physicality from city to city, from game to game.
Yeah, and listen, they're gonna be bringing that physicality, and you're exactly right. And what I was going to say was the offset was a team just like the Charlotte Hornets, who was in a similar position as both as the Detroit Pistons was. This is the thing that brings a team like that together. Like, yeah, we stood up as a squad. Just like you said, a lot of young upstart players. You know what I'm saying? LaMelo Ball, Diabate. These guys are going, hey man, put your Pooh Shiesty mask on. Let's take a picture. That's what those young guys are doing. They're looking for an opportunity to prove themselves, 9-game winning streak or not. When the Pistons came in playing that exact type of basketball, that style of basketball, that I'm pretty sure they went, hey, they're going to try and come in and punk us. The young guys banded together, suspensions or not, and they're going to go, hey, now they know, and now we know how to play, and they're going to be ready. And I honestly will be excited to see a nice 1-8 matchup if they make it into the play-in or something like that, where the Pistons and the Hornets get to play each other, up to 6 times, maybe 7, and we get to see aggressive tendencies come out, but maybe not taking it over the edge where they get to fight. And then, of course, last but not least, I can't forget about my guy, right? We can't forget about, of course, Chris Dunn and Julius Randle. There we go, another one out here. The Clippers out here, trying to be a better team, especially now that they don't have Chris Paul. They're on a bit of a roll as they don't have Chris Paul or James Harden. Bobby, I know you're happy about that. And Julius Randle is just Julius Randle, which and multiple teams have talked about Julius Randle's affinity for not being as aggressive, So this is, I think, another instance in which the team that is doing the metamorphosis can use this to bring them together. And the metamorphosis is happening more so with the Clippers than with the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves, we know who they are. We know what's going on with them. But the Clippers are changing completely, especially after they're moving on from the James Harden era. So I think that the aggression is not necessarily warranted, but depending on what side of the court you're on, it could be a good thing, So let's see what goes on from here, fellas. Oh my God, look at that, we reached the top of the second hour. This is crazy. I believe we had. No, I think Evan was going to come back, but I think Evan's doing fatherly duties. Man, this was actually a great show. Bobby G, I think you had one more thing to go throw in there, didn't you? Did you not?
No, I'm good, man.
Okay. Yeah, just double checking. Yeah, this is a wild day. Of course, Fridays are 4 in the hoop with Rec Room 10 o'clock. Yeah, gentlemen, I appreciate everybody for being here today. We're gonna go ahead and get some closing remarks from the gang. Bobby G, what you got on the schedule, bro?
Yeah, Monday. Catch me and Big Mike from the Man Cave. Game time 216 Eastern. Tuesday, right back here, at the Rec Room Weekly. And yeah, Thursday and Friday, Audible Sports Podcast, Sports Meets Life and Culture. Talking some NFL on Thursday and talking everything else on Friday.
Oh man, everything else on Friday. That's a tall list right there. Alan, man, you're always a little bit of everywhere. You know what I'm saying? We got some lock it in this weekend. Are you ready for it?
Yep. Tomorrow morning, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central. We'll do and lock it in. 5 best bets, stuff like that. Talking mostly college baseball, college basketball, NHL, NBA, stuff like that. So doing that. Baseball show Wednesday nights, which is now also on simulcasting on Let's Talk Sports and on RecRoomSports. So we got a baseball show now on Wednesday night. So check that out. And then, yeah, pretty much everything else under the sun at this point. So love doing this.
Yeah, we love it when you do it, bro. Continue doing your thing. Jay is stepped out for just a moment, and Uncle Scott, I believe you had wanted to get a couple words out there tonight.
Yeah, Alan hit where I'm going to be. I usually just follow Alan around, so wherever Alan goes, I just follow with him. So,
I have his medication, so I had to make sure he takes it.
Yeah. Alan visits the home sometimes and gives me my medication. So I thank him. I talked about this on the baseball show last night. My wife is in the hospital, has leukemia. Got diagnosed a couple days ago. Going to be in there for 4 weeks, at least 4 weeks, maybe more. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Whit, Bobby, Jay, Alan, Tanner, Nick, Sam, Jonathan, everybody that shouted out to me over text or over Twitter or whatever. Well wishes are very much appreciated. I said it last night. I'll say it again. I love doing all these shows. I love everybody I work with, without question. It's been a tough time. It's still tough. Long road to go. But just prayers and thoughts from everybody is much appreciated. And thank you to everybody that's reached out to me. And whatever anybody's asked, whatever they can do to help, they're more than willing to do the help right now. It's just the prayers right now. So, but I just want to thank everybody. I wanted to come on and thank everybody, as I did last night with Alan and Jonathan. So,
hey man, you don't got to tell us thank you. We family. It was a reflex for me for us to chime in, whether it be through text or to open the door for you to come and do the thing you love while you got some tough roads ahead, man. So we definitely appreciate you. Jay, you stepped away, man. Did you want to jump in and and throw some final thoughts out there, bro?
Hey man, just off of what I just heard, man. Like I said, we are definitely praying. Everybody's once again. I'm gonna say it again. Like everybody's pulling for y'all, Scott.
thanks.
And definitely a tough time. And I know there's sometimes the best thing is kind of get away from things for a second and kind of talk or you feel as your passion. You know what I'm saying? So we're always here, man. We're always here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And don't worry, Uncle Scott. If you need anything, the gang from Rec Room is not far away, my friend. So do not hesitate. So other than that, guys, hey, look, we do appreciate Evan from P5 showing up today, doing his thing, giving us 5 things to look forward to from this past week or so from college basketball. Can't wait to get Evan back on the show to do some more work and do what he does best. But that's it. 2 hours. We might as well go ahead and wrap it up. So of course, for Jay, for Bobby G, for AP, and for Uncle Scott, man, prayers are sent your way, my brother. Can't wait to do this again. Next Friday, we will be back. Don't forget, Wednesday with your boy, I will be out there with my guy Botkins and of course Bobby Blunts. We're doing head kicks and haymakers. We're talking some MMA. That's really going down. And catch everybody else on their shows, man, respectively. Other than that, we out. Peace.
Subscribe now